last year, if I'm not mistaken, it could have been Jason Moore or Mike Wright who said, hey, you can win a fantasy league with Jaden Daniels. We drafted him. We won the fantasy league with Jaden Daniels. I don't know if that's why neither of them are appearing in this segment today.
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs in our league, so I told them they can't come.
By the way, outstanding method of hunting and pecking for FaceTime, Andy. I appreciate. I totally appreciate that. But give me somebody who you can win a fantasy league with at quarterback, because that's the key: is when to choose one, who you're choosing. You know, because I know experts like yourself are probably like high-fiving inside when somebody uses a second or a third-round pick, even on somebody as great as Josh Allen or Lamar, right? Or Jaden Daniels, I imagine, is going to be in that mix this year.
Yeah, he is.
What is your philosophy on when to draft one and who this year?
Yeah, no, I think this year in particular, like, there's probably 5 core top-end names. It's Lamar, it's Allen, it's Daniels, it's Hurts, and then depending on who you talk to, it's probably Joe Burrow. Those other guys give you fantasy value with their legs, and that's huge, picking up the rushing yardage and touchdowns on the ground.
Yep.
But Burrow has just been a machine. Everything looks set up for him. So those 5 guys, I would probably, if I want one of them, I'm taking kind of the last of that group as far back as they go, let the other 4 go off the board. Otherwise, if I'm waiting late, like, I think there's tons of sleeper quarterback options this year. I think Jordan Love can bounce back in Green Bay. Like, he was a top 5 fantasy quarterback, dealt with injuries last year, kind of off everybody's board. I think he could do a lot. I think Drake May in New England, if they surprise, like, he's got rushing upside that, he showed at the back half of the year, but they were such a bad team. Sometimes people don't pay attention to that. Drake May is another guy, Bo Nix in Denver. If he can take the next step, I think there are some later values, and what I wouldn't do is just kind of spend a middle round pick. If I'm out of those top 5, I wait a little bit longer and grab one of those guys with upside, even Dak with CD and Pickens.
So what about Stroud? You win a championship with Stroud here. How about you're already giving me that look?
It's tough.
Purdy.
Tough.
Are we winning a championship with Purdy here? Baker? Goff?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I mean, Goff.
A bunch of you.
No, Goff, to his credit, like, he's been very consistent, but he's a back half QB1 the last 3 years. All the 4 names that you mentioned, what they have in common is that it's gonna be dependent on pocket passing success. So that really comes down to, like, can they hit huge touchdown numbers? Like Baker last year, great for fantasy, up at that 40+ mark. Really hard to repeat that. And so those pocket passers you see swing back and forth between relevance and irrelevance. If the touchdowns dip, you don't get that, like, baseline on the ground. So I think you can win with those guys. Stroud's the same thing. I think he had about 200 rushing yards last year. You got to get up over 35 touchdowns to really be a difference maker if you're a pocket passer. That's where Burrow, you kind of are confident he'll be 35+, maybe 40+. Again, that's the question. They all have the potential to do it. It's just you don't want to lock in and, like, auto start those guys if it's not their year. Be willing to kind of pivot and change and pick up somebody off the waiver wire.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.